get away with this.
And in that time, a whole posse of local vigilantes offered to lend a hand. They seemed as determined as me to find those outlaws. But as we headed into those swamps, it was like I had my own private army. There was no way those boys were getting away this time.
It was early fall, right? Beautiful time of year. At least you had the weather on your side.
Not by my recollection. It was damp and foggy as hell. It was tough to stay on a true course, so we kept an eye out for landmarks. It was autumn. The maple trees were in full color, red as blood. The rains that year were torrential, so the whole area was flooded. The vigilantes had spread out wide, and pretty soon I couldn't see anybody.
Bury them in the swamp. Plant them where they stand.
Except for some bitches ahead of me wanting to do me harm. So I had to face them alone. I wondered why my compatriots didn't come running when they heard the shots.
So did you find the Daltons?
Not yet. But I did have the questionable pleasure of meeting a few of their friends.
He's cutting us down like a horse.
Sviđa mi se ako ljudi razmišljaju. Dobro, dalje. Mislim da je ovdje prošlo.
The boys had established quite a reputation by that time, so they attracted all manner of riffraff to their cause.
Neko sam pucao.
Point being, I was under serious attack, and my reinforcements was nowhere to be seen.
Dobro, ovo je to. Odakle sad vratimo, ne vidim.
Somebody kill that sumbitch!
Ona kučka, mamusti. Što ću se obrati, sad. Čekaj, bre, stani. Ako upada ovaj komarci u oči, čovječe, nemoj da funkcioniš. Nije samo telefon. Tako da funkcioniš. Čekaj samo da... Idemo dalje.
But look, a barn materialized as if right before my eyes. I scrambled up top to get a better view.
Kako je koka?
Dobro tamo sedi, puši čum.
I kako je stela napolje poslije?
Sad će napustio patke, neka je napad.
A kokoške?
Nisam, neka.
Treba se nije. Neće se bio uopšte.
Sad će idem ja poći.
Idi pusti, neće još zijem.
But just ended up falling
Spikla
inside.
jesi?
Nisam.
Nisam.
The barn doors was open. About right then, I saw some suspicious characters running for the bushes. Of course, I followed them.
Hoću vam.
But that goddamn swamp was like a goddamn maze, and pretty soon I had no goddamn idea where I was.
Dobro. Hoće da te biće full streama.
Steve?
Kako? Aha, jes.
So I just started walking, and pretty soon
Užasno.
Steve!
Huh? Oh, no, I'm listening.
Indians surrounded me from all sides.
Indians? There were Indians?
No. I just wanted to make sure Steve was paying attention. Now, where was I?
You were following the Daltons through a swamp?
That's right. See, Steve? Dwight's paying attention.
No, I'm listening. I was just resting my eyes.
So, where was I?
The Daltons.
Right.
No,
See, there's a reason so many outlaw gangs are made up of brothers. Being a brother is a very sacred thing. It's a bond like no other.
Bounty hunters! Stop that, son of a bitch!
So did you ever find the damn Daltons?
Not yet. But I did find a few of their cousins. You Kansans breed like rabbits. More Smiths or Heimhoffers.
Ne mora, ja ću počet minu. Ovdje čovjek mina, brate.
Bounty hunters! Stop that, son of a bitch!
more important than family. I'll bet Ben knows what I'm talking about.
Bounty hunters! Stop that, son of a bitch!
Joj bože, sad čak, ja sam rekao da
Stop that,
ukidam.
son of a bitch!
Ne kuh, ne znam.
Bounty hunters! Stop that, son of a bitch! Put a bullet in him!
Joj, šao, brate. Šao.
Bounty hunters! Stop that, son of a bitch! Kill that goddamn bounty hunter! Somebody kill that son of a bitch! I'm gonna blow you into next week, boy!
Da, jesam, pucam te
Bury him in the swamp!
Kako je zemlja? Ha? Aha, dobro. Jedna fora sam pravio drugi dio igrice, bilo bi mnogo moćno. Mnogo bi moćno bilo i drugi deo igrice. Isto oko fazon ovakvog grafika, a samo se može sve. Gdje ćeš? Gdje ćeš na... Čekajte, koliko... Gledaj ovo, čekaj. Sad gledaj. Sad. Gdje je to rup? Ne znam oko dnjava. Čima, a ne? Ovdje. A ne?
Can you shoot around corners?
Aha, ovim gazali, kao bio neki boss. Mislim. Ulica je dobra, ubiše na ovi komarci, dakle. Evo. Svaki metak mora da se sjedi. Svaki metak, pazi, to će ima 100%. Kako je ovo? Čekaj da stane. Odakle ne putaš veliki mamicu? Znate šta je ovo, brate moj, da nema... Što sam vidio nekim praznim burićima, brate? Nekim burićima da prođe, ali ja mislim što...
I knew those Dalton boys were out there somewhere, standing together against anyone who would threaten them.
Doći će neću najebati, ali... Urađena ljudi. Koliko dobro rađena ulica, brate. Koliko je dobro ulica urađena, da je nemoguće. Mnogo dobro. Jebem ti ove komarce, ne mogu da pucam.
That's when I saw it. A goddamn steamboat.
A steamboat in a swamp?
Yeah, Steve, but this wasn't much more than a wreck, really.
How'd a damn steamboat end up in the swamps? Guess it floated off during the flood of '89.
Now, was it a stern wheeler or a side wheeler?
Does that really make a difference, Steve? It was a steamboat with a goddamn army on board. It was then that a fusillade of bullets come raining down from on high. And those vigilantes who accompanied me weren't anywhere to be found. But among those men that were shooting at me, I thought I saw some familiar faces. Somewhere up there, the Daltons were waiting on me.
Sorry, son of a bitch!
Sounds like you don't give up too easy.
That's the kind of man I am, Ben. I set out to do something. I do it. Surrender just ain't in my nature. Plus, I'm stubborn as hell.
Brother, I'm gonna make you pay for that!
Right about then, much to my relief, the vigilantes finally arrived. Their leader motioned at a cabin in the middle of the top deck, pointing me directly at the Daltons. I finally had them, after months of dogged pursuit. Turned out they had me.
Take him out!
Izjebane ligi, brate mene. Izjebašene.
The Daltons had played me like a fiddle. Apparently, the vigilantes were on their damn payroll. They didn't just want to shoot me. They wanted to burn me alive. But finding my way out of a burning labyrinth proved to be quite a challenge.
It was a riverboat, right? I mean, it's not like it was a goddamn ocean liner.
Well, yeah, but I was in a fight.
Will launch next year? Ron just won the world.
You're talking about the Titanic. If you ask me, it's too blessed big. I don't think it'll even float.
So anyway,
Don't be stupid, Steve. They know what they're doing. They say that the Titanic is unsinkable.
oh God.
But getting back to that steamboat, how'd you get off it, Mr. Greaves?
I took in a lot of smoke that day, so I admit my recollection might be a bit hazy. But somehow I managed to finally disembark. I was coughing up smoke and pretty damn pissed. I was done playing games with those boys. It was time to settle this once and for all. Weren't about to come at me one at a time. They were in this together. Two brothers side by side, determined to take me down. Confident that this time the odds were on their side.
Czekaj. Dwójce w isto vrijeme. Što to znači? Čekaj. Ubiše mene, ubija ja njim. To je posao, brate. Čekaj. Prvo moram ovog. Zašto ovaj prvi puca. Ovo dok izvodi. Čekaj. Što je zajebano, brate. Light, brate. Light, brate. Nekako mi je mali. Samo što u mobilu brže dobiješ do čikina nego na lightu. To je velika malo mana. I najbolje igrati u duo nego squad. Ovo, brate, ovaj sad brže, ovaj brže, brate.
Moda.
Čekaj sam. To je zajedno komplikovano, nisam ovo nikad ovako bi sad ovo ti je 2 proti 1. 2 proti 1. To je kako je zajebano, brate, se navikao ovako na
Two brothers side by side, determined to take me down. Confident that this time the odds were on their side.
To ovako. Čekaj, mogu se pomerim ja. To je već pravo. Ovo je kako komplikovano. Gotovo mi ne znam, 4-5 tur. Ma se pratim kako je brže oko. Ja mislim da brže ovaj. Jo, može se preskočiti, majke. Jaj, brate, ovo čekaj sad. Ova je sad okreći puca, ovo je sad, a ovo je pre... Čekaj, ovo me ubija. Daj, može spavati, majke. Aha. Ovo vode još. Brate, mi kako bolo.
They got it wrong. A sad end for those two. If they'd only known that Emmett was still alive despite his wounds. Paroled 14 years later. He moved to California and sold real estate and lived off the legend of that fateful day. And the tragic death of his two brothers. My own brothers died tragically as well, truth be told. It was 1868, and me and my older brothers were pulling a tidy profit running cattle into Juarez, Mexico. One night after my brothers retired for the evening, I found a little poker game in a cantina with a couple of cowboys. And I just couldn't lose. I even won an old Spanish coin that had to be 100 years old. Well, I was mighty pleased with myself the next morning as my brothers and I rode for Texas. But before we crossed the border, those cowboys caught up with us. It was Johnny Ringo, Roscoe Bob Bryant, and another asshole named Jim. They wanted their money back and everything else we had, including our lives, as those boys didn't want us coming for them later. Bob put that old Spanish coin in my mouth and said, "I won't have it said that I left you with nothing, boy." Well, those horses bolted, and there we hung as those bastards rode away. The branch finally snapped under the weight of the three of us, but being my older brothers were bigger and heavier, they were already dead. And right then I swore to myself that I would avenge them. Ringo you know about. But Bob eluded me, until I heard he was riding with the Wild Bunch. I'd been on their trail for months, ever since they left their hideout in the Bighorn Mountains. Led by Butch Cassidy, they were a loose association of outlaws who robbed banks and trains from Colorado to Montana. Among them was the Sundance Kid, and that murderous hombre I was tracking, Roscoe Bob Bryant. They blew the bridge with the intention of forcing the train to stop. assumed the wild bunch was likely in the still intact part of the train high above. So I had no choice but to make my way up through the passenger cars dangling down. I was determined to make that sumbitch Bob pay for what he did to my brothers.
My ears are still ringing from blowing up that bridge. What'd you say? I can't hear a goddamn thing.
Well, I made my way off unscathed and came upon a few members of the gang and had no choice but to dispatch them. From there, I had to negotiate an even more precarious route. First, I would need to get my ass out of there.
Zatvori vrata, samo izađi s ovdje.
A gdje tamo njemu čovječe na ranimi koljen, onda vozimo drva.
Ajde, dođi
I
tamo.
jumped from the frying pan into the fire as the train was clearly fixing to fall. I had found the gang, but in order to find old Bob, I needed to fight my way forward past a whole passel of desperados. Outside, inside, any way I could, I made my way towards my prey.
Well, what about the passengers?
It was mostly a freight train, as I recall. There were no passengers aboard that day.
Pardon se. Ovako treba. Ne. Možda treba. Ne. Da. Da. Kujva.
As I mentioned before, I am not fond of heights, but I was too busy dodging bullets to worry about falling to my death. Odds were I was likely to die that day anyway, so I was determined to take down as many of those bastards as I could. At times it was like shooting ducks in a shooting gallery. The only difference is these damn ducks shot back.
Ne možda čute, ove drtine zatvore.
I kept hoping the law would show up and give me a hand.
You mean like that giant Pinkerton posse that I read about? Did they come riding in, guns a-blazing to help?
Help? From the Pinkertons? No, son. I had to fight the wild bunch all by my lonesome, as usual.
Who the hell is that? Take cover! Retreat! Retreat! He's killing everybody! Now you're dead. He'll kill us all! Run! Death is coming through.
guess is those dime novels didn't portray this as it happened, did they? Only a few stragglers were left, and I had to cut them down pronto if I was going to stay on old Bob's trail. Once I silenced all those guns, I went searching for my nemesis, determined to finally have my justice. But the only survivor who welcomed me was George Flat-Nose Curry.
Who was he?
The fastest gun in the gang. Right after Sundance, I mean. And Kid Curry, and maybe Elsie Lay. Though some folks might dispute that.
Ne, dva. Vamo, ruka na tu stranu. Na tu stranu. No, tako. Dobro. Ja, brate, kako je zajebano. Super. No, ubij njega, ja mene.
The fastest gun in the gang. Right after Sundance, I mean. And Kid Curry, and maybe Elsie Lay. Though some folks might dispute that. On that very same day, Butch Cassidy and the Sundance Kid decided to leave the Wild Bunch behind and decamped for South America.
Okay.
They ended up living down there for many years, but I'm sure you already know all about that.
Idemo dalje. Brate, šta je ovo? Ovo, mnogo dobra igrica, mnogo dobra, sviđa mi se, mnogo. Nije loš.
I tried to find Bob Bryant, but it was as if he'd disappeared. Sometime later, I heard the Wild Bunch was back together. Kid Curry escaped from jail, and now he was running the whole shebang. So I took to their trail, because I was still in pursuit of my brother's killer and hoped that he was back with him.
That Kid Curry's kind of crazy, ain't he?
Don't let him hear you saying that.
Anyways, I tracked those boys to a camp right outside Parachute, Colorado.
Who's shooting? We're under fire!
Being outnumbered, I didn't bother with a warning shot. I just started taking those bastards down.
No, shit. I'm not know what I'm gonna go with it.
Old Bob wasn't among them, and neither was Kid Curry. I could sense him close by, however, plotting something nasty. I just needed a clue as to their whereabouts. And I found one. A map with their bold plan clearly marked. This time they were fixing to blow up a train trestle. Property of the Union Pacific. The plan clearly indicated how they were fixing to undermine several of the weakest wooden supports. Kid Curry was considered the wildest of the Wild Bunch. It was said that he fathered 85 bastard children, though some say it was only 5. Kid Curry had bragged to a whore how he was going to rob a train heading to the U.S. Mint in Denver. And that whore, Fat Sally, she told me. Yes, I had to tread carefully. Otherwise, I could, well, die. The bridge was rigged with dynamite, so I decided I'd best be careful confronting those bastards. A moment later, I saw a ladder that somehow had escaped my attention.
Don't you blow us up now.
Don't worry, I know what I'm doing.
Bunch did not take kindly to my presence and attempted to blow my head off. It appeared the kid had found a number of new recruits to bolster their ranks. Guess there's always desperate men willing to trade their lives for stolen treasure.
What happened next?
Well, having removed the first bundle of dynamite, I decided I might as well remove the other one. Once that was done, I figured I'd find my way from there.
sam kao... Dokle sad, brate? Aha, to je tu. Ha? Fuck you.
It must have been terrifying trying to make your way across.
I was sweating it a bit, but then I noticed a footbridge tied up on high, so I shot the rope.
Hop, 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 hop. Sight. Oh, nice.
So that was all the dynamite?
Funny you should mention that, darling. As actually there was a fourth charge impeding my progress. Once I removed it, my path was pretty clear.
Just brought it. I'm gonna cut you in.
Proceeded onward. I realized that that way just wasn't gonna work. I needed an alternate path forward. Might have ended had I not been as careful as hell. Luckily, I found a cave, and as I made my way back to the bridge, I saw something that concerned me. It was a long burning fuse, and it was moving fast as hell. I had to catch it. The burning fuse was so damn quick, I had to run like the wind. I almost had it, but no. Thought I was gonna have a coronary when I lost sight of those sparks. My heart was pounding like a sledgehammer.
Czekaj, masz wióry śpiewałeś. Ale mało.
I knew that failure meant boom. Then, finally, at the last moment. Whew. Of course, I was successful, or clearly I wouldn't be talking to you folks here today. Naturally, I removed the last dynamite charge.
Well, it was a touching reunion.
But by this time, I was thoroughly exhausted and dragging my ass as I was not a young man anymore. It's truly amazing I've made it this far in life, considering how many times I've danced with death.
Ja sam noob. Noob, evo. Ovo je četiri puta. Ja sam. Igram samo više. Nekad sviram pa se ne izneviramo. Neki izneviraju se. Kako se zove. Lupaju sve tastaturu. Mi 6 lupa. Nema ti nervoza, brate. Treba ti malo budeš. Čim pošto se nerviraš. Ili vamo, ili vamo. A, ovako.
Kill that Azuki! Make him bleed! Send him to perdition!
Finally, I found those boys. Or more precisely, they found me.
Ujebote kako, gledaj ti ovo. Sad dosta ima. Sad dosta ima.
Ajde čanskom dotaj malo.
Sad ću idem, ajde bi zatvori vrata.
Ili.
Sad je to.
Sočnja će pusti na sigura, hvala da jebeš se. Što je nije? Što je nije? On nije se jedin na osti. On nije se jedin. Koliko je ovo?
Čekaj, sad. Nice. To ti je bio posljednji.
Just when I thought things couldn't get worse, Kid Curry opened up on me with a goddamn Gatling gun. It was hidden in this tunnel and pretty well shielded.
Kid. Kako se zove? Dobro. Ovaj šur je vete sa utokom. Kako to stvarno? Ja, ovo nije ništa. Kako sam bio šubio javo. Ovo sam bio šubio javo. Ovo pedera. Ovo sam zakon da radim.
Luckily, I had located some dynamite. I still, however, had my work cut out for me.
Hold it off while I reload. That smells like a kill you.
Ne. Loš sam radi. A jako pravo. Inače, to biti ova neka.
Eventually, I brought that tunnel down. That's when I met Kid Curry himself. He had decided to stop pussyfooting around and deal with me personally.
Nešto moram nadradim, pa se idemo u sljedećem streamu. Znači, ovo grunemo. To je to, moj ortac iz vrtića. Budem probao Elemuda.
As fast as he was, I was just a bit faster.
Da smo prešli misiju.
And as he lay wounded, I demanded to know the whereabouts of Roscoe Bob Bryant. He shouted at me. Is that what this is about? Bob went with Butch's Sundance to South America. You ain't never finding him.
Da.
Those were his last words.
To bi to, idemo sa sljedećem streamu malo kasnije. Ćao svima. Idemo u sljedećem klipu, sljedećem live.